back out in the garden today looking at one of the more difficult aspects of both gardening and hedgery. Today we need to do some pruning. This is Hedgery. Part of the hedgery path is removing or minimizing things in our lives that are harmful to us. And sometimes those things, sometimes they look like useful things, and it can be hard to know the difference. An example of this is these basil flowers, these basil seeds that are forming here. If I allow them to keep going, they're likely to kill the plant. I really want this basil plant to keep putting on good leaves for the rest of the season, but it won't be able to do that if these flowers stick around. The same thing is true with this tomato plant here. You can see it's beginning to form a fruit. There's some flowers. Got some more flowers over here. If I let these go to fruit, that'll be the end of these tomato plants. They are determinate tomatoes, which means they put on fruit once and they're done. Pruning them off means ultimately maybe I don't get any tomatoes. But if I don't prune them off, there's a really good chance I won't get any either, because these are just too early in the transplanting process, and I'm not sure that the plant will be able to finish growing those fruit. Being hedgers does require us to act with courage, and that can be difficult. It can be scary, even if it's only something as simple as pruning off this basil plant. I mean, it's a little thing, but I'm really scared about whether it's going to work or not. But sometimes we have to act. Of course, we're not just talking about gardening. We're talking about the larger life lessons of the hedgery path. A whole half of the wings are dedicated to things that we want to prune out of our lives. Need, hatred, ignorance, disease, and of course, fear. When we choose not to act, in spite of knowing better, those terrible things in our lives, our communities, our nation, our world, those terrible things continue to grow, and they can grow out of control. Of course, as hedgers, it's kind of in our nature to not want to choose sides. I mean, we do our work in the middle. At the same time, many of the systems of oppression that we ourselves are using hedgery to try to escape from, those are the same systems of oppression that have been on the necks of people of color for hundreds of years. And because of that, because of my position in a liminal space between the future, the past, right and left, I observe both sides of our political spectrum. I observe the extremists that are out there. The ones I'm most worried about, though, are the far-right white supremacists, the Klan, the Nazis. They are far more organized than the extremists on the left, and according to the FBI, they have been infiltrating law enforcement and the military for decades now. And of course, removing people from our lives is very different from pruning tomatoes. When we take someone out of our circles, we're also taking ourselves out of theirs, which means, they may not have any other opportunity to experience other points of view. We might have been the only person giving them a different perspective. So whenever we are considering pruning, whatever it is that we are cutting out of our lives, it's imperative that we use this awesome intellect that we have been given to consider as many factors as we can and decide wisely. And once we have come to a conclusion, it is vital that we act decisively and with courage. And before we go, I want to leave you with a question that has no single correct answer. Obviously, these plants over here haven't been pruned in a while and they're kind of running amok. Here's my question. What is holding you back from pruning the thing that you most want to cut out of your life? What fear, what need, what is it that's holding you back from taking courageous action? Please think that over and share with us down in the comments if you're willing. And while you're at it, why not subscribe to the channel, ring the little bell so you know when there's a new video. I'll see you next time, but until then, remember, you are Hedgery.